Greetings folks and welcome back to another CCNArchive video. This one's all about that first connection to a device and actually starting to navigate the operating system a little bit, learning about privilege exec mode, global configuration mode, line and interface or specific configuration modes. Enjoy this trip into my mind's madness. In this demonstration, what we have is our PC connected to a router via console cable. If you open this up straight away, you're not going to have exactly the same as me, and I'll explain why in a second. You should have the PC connected to the router. You will want to click on the PC and you'll want to go to the desktop tab. You might start off with physical. If you click on the desktop tab, you go to terminal and then you hit OK, just accepting the defaults. Now, this is where we might differ ever so slightly. When I press enter, a question is going to come up, whereas if you're following this packet tracer, you might find it just comes up with router. Either way is okay, but I did want to show this. This is a question that will come up on every brand new device. So if you're making a packet tracer yourself, you load a packet, a router or switch into the topology space and you try to gain access to it, you'll get this question. And it says, would you like to enter initial configuration dialog? And the answer to that is always a resounding no. No. Okay. If you accidentally type yes, it's not the end of the world. All you need to do is minimize the PC, go to the router, go to its physical tab, and on the physical tab, you'll find that it actually has a power button. Just turn the power off, turn it back on, and then you'll be able to go back to your PC. I'll fast forward time a little bit first. We'll go back to the PC and you'll find that we immediately get the question again. And you can hit write no this time and press enter. Now this is where most of you should be if you're following the actual packet tracer, and that's just router with the more than symbol. So this more than symbol lets me know that I am currently at what's known as user exec mode. Okay, nothing special about it, it's just user mode. You can't actually do that much at this level. So what we want to do is we want to run this as administrator, really. That's what we want to be doing. So we have to type the command enable, E-N-A-B-L-E, okay? And that command is what changes us to privilege exec mode or administrator mode, let's call it. Okay, so that runs us straight into administrator level. And that is our first step into the operating system, navigating from user mode into privilege exec mode. From here, we want to, well, at this level, we can issue show commands. We can see a lot about the device if we so wanted. But what we want to do is we want to go into configuration mode. Okay, so to get into configuration mode, we issue the command configure terminal. And then you press enter. And you'll see straight away by typing configure terminal, and I'm just pressing enter here to get it on the screen a bit more. We now have the host name and then configure hashtag. So at this level, one of the things we can do is we could change the host name if we wanted. So I'm just going to quickly issue the command host name. I'm going to change it to R1 for router 1 and I'll press enter. And what you'll see is that I now get R1 config because that is the host name. And this lets me know that I'm in configuration mode. And this lets me know I'm running it as administrator. So there we have R1 is the host name. I'm in configuration mode. And because that is something I was able to change the name at the global configuration level, it impacts the whole device to change its name. So that's something there that we can do. Okay. And you can see same construct there. It's just changed the host name element. And there we are, we're in config mode. So now let's go into what we call line console. This is where we can add some security to the console line, you know, that new serial cable that we're plugged in currently with. We could actually add security onto that if we wanted and add a password, for example. If someone ever wants to plug this cable in and gain access through a terminal, they have to type a password. It's a really good thing to do. So we can go into line console. And then it's how many console lines do we have? We only have the one, but we start at 0. So this is line con 0. And then from there, if you press enter, you'll see that we get config-line, which is fantastic. Okay. And what we'll do quickly is we will then exit out of that. And this is how we can take one step backwards. And you see that that takes me back from console-line to just config level. And if I want, I could go into an interface gigabit Ethernet 0/0/0, and you can see I'm now into gigabit Ethernet. But this time, instead of typing exit, which will get me back to just config, I'm going to type the word end. So purely because of a small recording issue, I just quickly need to show what typing end actually does. It didn't appear on our console, so I'm going to quickly go onto here, and we'll go to our terminal. We're into the router. I've increased the size of the text as well. I think that'll make things a bit better. So we type enable to get into our privilege level. We type configure terminal to get into global configuration mode. And then we can go into, say, line or interface by typing the word interface. Well, interface to get into an interface, line would be line. So I'll type interface, gigabit Ethernet, and put G for short, 0/0/0. And again, if I type exit, you see that takes me back one individual level in the structure, in that hierarchy. Whereas if I quickly go back into my interface and then now type the word end, you see that takes me all the way back to privilege exec mode. The great thing about end is it doesn't matter where you are in the operating system. You could be in an interface, you could be really deep in an access control list, whatever's happening. If you type end, no matter where you are, it will take you back to this privilege exec level, which is often very handy because that's where we issue show commands and where we'll look at things. So it can be very handy to be able to jump back to that privilege exec level very quickly. Another actual way that you can do this as well, to quickly go back into our interface, is to use a keyboard shortcut. And you can actually press the Control and Z keyboard together on the keyboard. You'll see that I get a small notification here saying Control Z pretty much, and there you can see I'm also back. Little messages come up on the screen, but there I'm also back to that privilege exec mode. So Control Z, the same as end. Hey folks, I really hope you enjoyed that video. Stay tuned, there's more coming, and we really start getting to more and more configuration as this starts to get into it. So I really hope you're enjoying these. Like them, subscribe, do everything you need to do. All the best. Catch you later.